Every person in this country and in this state has a right to marry a person of the opposite sex, according to the
And why not
original
extend it to
definition
the
of
same
marriage.
sex? Why isn't that's clearly within the bounds of a reckoning of equal protection?
Because that's not
why
in
not
the
do that?
that's not in the historical definition of marriage. It never has been. It's going to be created if it is created, which I do not believe it should be or would be.
Well, you don't believe that as a matter of personal opinion, right? But times change, definitions change. We didn't think blacks were equal to whites. That changed.
I believe that's a matter of law, because our rights contained in the Bill of Rights do not come from the Constitution. They come from God. It's clearly stated.
Do not come from God, Your Honor, and you know that. They come from man.
Well, let me ask you one question. Chris. Is the Declaration of Independence law?
You would call it organic law as a basis for future laws off of it.
I would call it the organic law because the United States Code calls it organic law. It is organic law because the law of this country calls it the organic law of our country, means where our rights come from. And if they come from there, men can't take them away.
Our rights do not come from God. That's your faith. That's my faith. But that's not our country.
Well,
our laws come from the collective agreement and compromise.
It's not a matter of faith, sir. It's a matter of organic law, which states we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the only role of government, as stated in the next sentence, is to secure those rights for us.
Nowhere
when government starts taking those rights away from us, then it's not securing them for us. It is violating the whole purpose of government.
Understood. But here's the thing. Yes, you're right with your principle of where you want to extend government and not. But it's about this case. It's about this set of equal protection issues. And you don't even have a rational basis for why marriage should only be between a man and a woman. You need to have a rational basis.
It's about this case, you're right.
And you would need to even have a rational basis for why it can only be between a man and a woman. And all you can say is, because God said so. It's always been that way. That's not enough.
I've never... Are you going to let me answer?
Absolutely, sir. Please do.
Okay, I've never said that's about my faith and it's about my religion. It is not, as a matter of fact. It's about the organic law of our country, which states very clearly that our rights, our pursuit of happiness, quoted in Loving versus Virginia, come from God. Now, God gave us that definition, and that definition has remained in America for many, many centuries, for 2 centuries, and even before that, till just recently. Now, I'm just simply saying the people of Alabama have a right to put in their Constitution that marriage is between a man and woman. That doesn't dispute anything.
It certainly does. It certainly does.
What it already has.
It certainly does.
The question before the court is whether that definition is constitutional. That's to be taken up by the Supreme Court in April. So we'll wait and see what they say.
You've already had
this. I'm not being disrespectful at all, Chris. I just asked you to answer a question. I think you've now answered it, that you would have followed the fact that they said black people were property, and you would have obeyed that law.
I would have been bound to.
You also said you would have followed Plessy versus Ferguson, which said separate but equal was a proper policy, and you would have obeyed that law.
I would be bound to.
And you wouldn't even dissented, would you?
I would be bound to.
Would you have dissented?
Of course I would have dissented. I hope that my heart and my head would have been at that place in my own personal development, because that's not where yours is.
That's what I would have done. That's what I would have done, Chris. I would have
followed. But I would not dissent against this one, because I understand the law and I understand its evolution.
Your opinion, well, it's not evolution. Law doesn't evolve. It's made by Congress, and it's made by the state legislatures, and it's made by constitutional amendments, not by federal court judges who make the ruling on their own feelings.
I understand, Your Honor. Thank you for coming on and discussing it with us on New Day. We'll come back to you in the future. Appreciate it. Literally, the satellite window went down. That's why we lost Chief Justice Moore there. But we appreciate him for coming on.